Okay, now you understand how to make a loop. And whenever we make a loop, there are several ways to make the stopping criteria. So there's one way, we call it ending a loop with a sentinel value. So what is sentinel value? Often the number of times a loop is executed is not predetermined. So what does it mean? So if you want to print 100 times, okay, so we know we can make a while, count less than 100. But if we do not know this number, so we need to have another option. Let's say this one. You may use an input value to signify the end of the loop. Such a value is known as sentinel value. So we need to give kind of value to stop. So while count is not equal to guess, for example. So this must be distinctive enough so as not to be mistaken for a regular value in the sequence. Let's see this one. Write a program that reads and calculates the sum of an unspecified number of integers. It's the sum of an unspecified numbers of integers. So I can input any integers, I can input any numbers. But when the input 0, let's end the input. So if the input equals to 0, then stop the program. You can check the sentinel value.py. Sentinel value.py. So we want to do the summation. We want to do addition. So the data will be the input from the user. Enter an integer. The input ends if it is 0. So if you give 0, then it stops. Sum starts with 0. While the data not equal to 0, we will do the summation. Sum plus equal data. Then it is the sum equals to sum plus the data. Okay. And then we will give another input. Data is eval input enter integer. The input ends if it is 0. If the data is not equal to 0, again we will do the summation. If the data is 0, then we stop and then we print the summation. So let's see. Enter an integer. Let's say I put 5. Okay. Enter another integer. Let's say I put 2. Enter an integer. Let's say I put 3. And then let's solve it. So I give 0. Then the sum is 10. Because the first data I give 5. The second data I give 2. The third data I give 3. 5 plus 2 plus 3 is 10. And this program will stop when I give 0. Okay. So this we call as the sentinel value. Now you need to understand for this numerical errors. The numerical errors means when you have the numeric errors, it involves floating point numbers. So numeric errors involving floating point numbers are inevitable. So you cannot avoid it. So there are some articles about the floating point arithmetic issues and limitations. So if you want to see the details, you can go to this tutorial. And also, some of the people try to give a kind of way to understand the floating point converter. So you can also use this type if you want to know more about floating point. So this floating point will give you errors when you put the floating point as the condition. For example, if you put the data not equal 0, this is okay because we want to check if it is not equal to 0. However, when you have some data with float, then it will become a problem. Okay, so let's see. Here is an example that sums a series that starts with 0.01 and ends with 1.0. So the number in the series will increase by 0.01. So 0.01 plus 0.02 plus 0.03 and so on. So let's look at the test sum.py. Test sum.py. Sum equals to 0. And then I start from 0.01. So if I is less than equal to 1.0, let's do the sum. So sum plus equal I. It means sum will be equal to sum plus I. I will be added by 0.01. Okay, now let's check. What is the sum? The sum is 49.5, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and the last one is 3. Actually, we know that this should be like, why there is 3 like this? Okay, it is the issue in the floating number. But this is not only the issue. Actually, the result display is 49.5, but the correct is actually 50.5. Why? So I give this explanation. For each iteration in the loop, I is incremented by 0.01. When the loop ends, I value is slightly larger than 1. Slightly larger than 1, it means this one 0.01 plus 0.01 plus 0.01 and so on. Actually, if we use our logic, at the end, it can reach 1. However, if you want to display print I. What is the result? 1.0007. So it is not exactly 1. Because it is not exactly 1, so the summation will not be happen. Actually, we want to get 1, but it will not be happen because of this floating point numbers. So this floating point numbers issue, you can get all the details in this document. Okay. So that's one of the, because this is the Gaussian. Whenever you use any mathematical functions, when you want to do the addition or you want to do the subtraction, please remember, do not use floating point value for equality checking. Since floating point values are approximation for some values, so approximation, it is not exactly that number. And using them could result in imprecise counter values. And it can give you inaccurate results. So for example, I want to compute like 1 plus 0.9 plus 0.8 plus something until 0.1. Okay, let me try this one. Items start from 1 and then sum equals to 0. So if item does not equal to 0, 1 is not equal to 0, then I would like to do the summation for the item. The item will be minus by 0.1. So 1 minus 0.1, it will be 0.9. Okay. And then if I do another repetition, then it will be 0.8. And then I will do the minus again, 0.7. And so on. And if we use the logical in the mathematics, of course, it can reach 0. 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, and then 0. So if the item equals to 0, then stop. But is it a guarantee for getting a 0? Nothing. So it is infinite loop. Why? You can print the item. So it is infinite loop because you put this inequality sign. So if you have this problem, what should we do? Just change this one, not equal to greater than. Okay. Be careful with this one. Because if you use the not equal, then there is no guarantee that the item will be 0. It can be 0.00000000007 or 0.0000003. So it is not exactly 0 because of the float operation. So if you use this one, then okay, it will solve. Okay, one function make a big change to the program. So I give this explanation. Variable item starts with 1 and is reduced by 0.1 every time the loop body is executed. The loop should terminate when item becomes 0. However, there is no guarantee that the item will be exactly 0. Because floating point arithmetic is simulated. So this loop seems okay on the surface. It means from the code is okay, but it is actually an infinite loop. Okay, be careful when you make this kind of loop. So the second syntax for the loop or the iteration is for. For loop is a count control loop. We call count control loop because we can give numbers. The count control loop means it iterates a specific number of times. We can use a for statement to write count control loop. It is designed to work with sequence of data items. It iterates once for each item in the sequence. So the general format is something like this one. I have for, and then what is the variable? And I would like to check from a sequence of values. So the sequence of value will be in the square bracket. So if the variable is in this sequence, then we will do something. So the target variable is the variable which is the target of the assignment at the beginning of its iteration. So let's see one by one. I'm not explaining about list now, but just look at this one. I have for loop, and then I have a variable num. And for example, I have a sequence of 1 until 5. So I would like to print num. Then it means I will print from the first, and then second, and then third, and then fourth, and then 5. So if I have 4 num in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can print num. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you change this sequence, let's say 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Then we will print according to the sequence. So 6, and then 5, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2. So if we have like this one, it means first we will declare the variable I. And then I will start from the left, which is 1. So I now is 1. So I will print 1. And then go to the next is 2. So now it will print 2. So go to the next value, which is 3. Now it will show 3. And go to the next, which is 4. And then we will print 4. And then go to the next, which is 5. And then we will get the result 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And finish. In the loop, we can use range. We can use range. The range function simplifies the process of writing a for loop. So range returns an iterable object. Iterable object means the iterable contains a sequence of values that can be iterated over. So I don't need to write like this one. Let's say like this. Print range 5. What is range 5? this is an object. Object, it will start from 0 until 5. So I can replace this for I in range 5. Print I. Then you will get a sequence of number from 0 until 1. So the idea of this one is the same with for I in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then print I. Okay, so range 5 is a built-in function in Python, and you can just use it. So both of them will give you the same result. For the first, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will print each of the value. For the second, I have a function range until 5, and then it also show 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Range characteristics. So we have range with one argument. It means we are going to make the ending limit. Or range with two arguments. It means we have starting value and ending. Or range with three arguments. So it means we have the third argument, which is step values. Okay, what does it mean? Let's look one by one. One argument. One argument means we have a range with only one value in the parentheses. So range and give a number. Let's say if I put range 4, then I will print 4 numbers. I will print 4 numbers from 0 and then 1, 2, and 3. What about 4? 4 will not be included. So we will just print only 4 numbers until we have 4, then it will be until 4 minus 1. Okay. So please remember that every of this loop will start from 0. So if you have range 5, then it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have range 6, then it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is always minus 1 from this end value. Okay, if I have range 7, then it will be 0 until 6. If I have range 9, then it will be 0 until 8. So it always minus 1 from the end number. We can have two arguments. What does it mean by two arguments? The two arguments means in the range function, we put two values. We put the initial value and we have the end value. For example, for I in range, initial value and end value. Let's see. So I have a number from 2 until 9. So I have two arguments. The first argument is the starting number, and the second argument is the ending number. And if I run, the number will start from 2. Okay, if we say start from 2, then the number will start from 2. But what is the ending? The ending will be still minus 1. So if we put 9, then the ending will be 8. Okay. So let's see, if I put 3 and 6. So the starting number is 3 and then the last is 5. This is minus 1. Okay. Is it possible if I make it reverse? I want to make minus 1 until minus 3. Is it possible? Not possible. Okay. So the sequence always increases. You can start with minus 1 until 3, for example. So you can start from minus 1 and then 0 and then 1 and then 2. Okay. Now I have this kind of statement with 4. How if I want to make this with 1? So let's say I want to print from minus 1 until 2 using for loop. And let's change this statement using while. How can we do it while? So if you use while, you need to start with one initial value. So we need to initialize the loop control. Let's say I'm using I. So I start from minus 1. So if I is less than 3, then print I, and then I will do I equals to I plus 1. So I will be added by 1. So the result, this one will be the same with the limits. Okay. So this statement with while is the same with this statement. Okay. So in the two arguments, yeah, we can have starting value and ending limit. So the starting value is the initial value and the end value is the ending. So for example, 4, 8, then the result will be 4, 5, 6, 7. We can have 3 arguments. What does it mean by 3 arguments? Then we have 3 values and it is separated by comma. If we have 3 values, then we have, for example, 3 and 9. So 3 indicates the initial value. 9 indicates the end value. And the last one indicates the step. What does it mean by step? So we will not execute for every single number. It depends on the step. So if I have from minus 1 until 11, so I want to print this one, then the result will be minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But I want to print every 2 steps. Means the result will be -1, 0 will be skipped, and then next is 1, 2 will be skipped, next is 3, 4 will be skipped, and then 5, 6 will be skipped, and then 7, 8 will be skipped, and then 9. Why 10 is not printed? Because we need to have step equal to 2. So can I change this to 3? Yes. It means every 3 steps it will be printed. Okay, so this means the step. First is -1 and then +3. 2 +3. 5 +3. This is the result. Generating an iterable sequence that ranges from the highest to the lowest. Okay. So if I want to generate a number, as I mentioned before, we need only to have the increment. But can we generate decrement from high to low? Yes, you can, but you need to put the step. Okay. So the range function can be used to generate a sequence with numbers in descending order. Descending order means from the highest to the lowest. So make sure the starting number is larger than the end, and the step value is negative. So if I run, I want to start from 10, and then I want to go to 1. So I need to give the step. So the step will be -1. Then it will start from 10, and then it goes 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. Again, because this is 1, so the ending will be P4, this number. So this is the step that we need to define. If you put no step, what happens? Nothing. Okay. So if you want to make from the highest number to the lowest, make sure that you have the step. And you can also make the step with more than 1. So it means I will like to start from 10 and then goes to 8, goes to 6, 4, and 2. Okay, so this is the meaning by the 3 arguments. Next is about nested loops. If we have nested loop, what is nested loop? It means we have for, and then we have another for, or we have while, and then we have another while. Or sometimes we can combine for and while. So nested loop is a loop that is contained inside another loop. So we have inner loop goes through all of its iteration for its iteration of outer loop. Inner loops complete their iteration faster than the outer loops. And the total number of iteration in nested loops equals to the number of iteration inner multiplied by the number of iteration out. Okay, so let's see what is the meaning by inner and outer. I have for I in range 1 until 5. And then I have for j in range 1 until 4. So I want to print I and I want to print j. So this is the result. I equals to 1. When I equals to 1, so we have this form. And we will do the j first. J equals to 1. So while I equals to 1, now j becomes 2. While I equals to 1, now j becomes 3. So we call this is the inner loop. And we call I is the outer loop. After we finish with the inner loop 1, 2, 3, so we go to the next from this loop, from the outer one. I becomes 2. When I becomes 2, now j will start from 1 again, 2, 3, and then finish. And then it goes to the next, which is I equals to 3. So j will be 1, 2, 3. And the next is I equals to 4, and then j is 1, 2, 3. So using this way, we get 4 times. Okay. What does it mean by 4? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 from the outer loop, and then 3 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3 from the inner loop. That's why 4 multiplied by 3, we have 12. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Now, when we create a nested loop, we want to place something inside in the inner loop. For example, okay, let's have this problem. I want to print star, 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 star. And then, yeah, I would like to see, okay, in this case, I want to see 3 loops from the outer. And then I would like to get 5 loops from the inner. Okay. Then how can we do this one? So I want to get 3 from the outers, from the outers loop. So I will get 3. And then from the inner loop, I want to get 5. So I can print. Okay, so let me just skip this one. And then let me check. If you just do like this, you print everything on the left. Okay, so everything of the star will be only in one line. But I do not want like this. I want that when we do this inner loop, let's print at the same line. Okay, so the print in the same line means when we have the ending of this one, let's put something or just space. Okay, you can have one space or no space. If you put no space, everything will be printed in the same line. Okay. If you put one space, then you will print the star, and then it will give you one space, and then next we will print another star. So now let me just not giving this one. So if I finish with this inner loop, I want to go to the next line. Then I can just do with print. I can do it print. Then I will get like this. There are 5 times in the inner loop, and then there are 3 times in the outer loop. And then for the inner loop, I would like to print in the same line. And after I print this one, I would like to go to the next line. Okay, so this is the meaning. Now, if you check this one, is there any difference between 1,4 and range 3? Actually, no difference if you want to have only how many times. Okay. So 1,4 means also I have only 1, 2, 3. Then I have only 3 times. If I have range 3, then it means 0, 1, 2. So I have 3 numbers. It will be different if you want to print the number. Let's say I want to print I. So it will print 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. Or if I want to print J, so it will print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to print from 1 to 5 or 1 to 6, then it will show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it depends on the problem. What do you want to print? And then, how many do you want to execute this problem? Now, what is the output of the following nested columns? I would like to have I from 1 until 7. Now J, it will be from 1 until I. What does it mean? If I equals to 1, then the inner loop will be from 1 until 1. If 1 until 1, then nothing. We will do nothing. So we will go to the next line and then go to the next. I equals to 2. Then the range will be from 1 until 2. 1 until 2. So if J equals to 1, we will print star. So if we finish J equals to 1, now can we go to J equals to 2? Because I is 2, so we cannot go to 2 because we will do until -1. So stop and then go to the next I. I will be 3. So it means the range will be 1 until 3. So J will start from 1 So we will print 1, and then j will become 2, so we will print again star. So you can get the result something like this one. So the first line will have 1 star, and the second line will have 2 stars, the third line will have 3 stars, and so on. And you can change this one to I, or let's say to J. So if I want to change this to I, so I print 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6. So if I want to print also 1, then I can just put I plus 1. So the 1 will be printed, and the next will print 2 times of 2, next will print 3 times of 3, and so on. Or if I want to change this to J, what happens? So I can have 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So it depends on the problems. You can set any kind of things for these nested loops. Okay, I think I will stop here. Okay, I will continue again on Thursday. Okay, please do not forget to finish your room until posting. Thank you very much for attending the course today.